Hello and welcome to this edition of Finance and Technology Insights. I'm Brian Williams from Northshire Consulting. He's Eric Buhrendorf from EVERNET. What's happening, Eric?
Testing. 1, 2, 3. How do you read?
Yeah, right. Pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, we're a little choppy. My wife's home this week. I'm sure there's a lot of other kids that are home this week, so the internet will be stretched. Are your kids home this week or next week?
Yeah, the kids are home this week, so they're at camps and various activities. But they are home. Yeah. But yeah, I imagine home bandwidth will be stretched for families working from home.
Yep. Yeah, a lot of Disney Plus going on, a lot of Netflix, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
What's new with you business-wise?
Let's see. Since we've last met, we're building out. We're continuing the expansion of our sales and marketing and digital marketing and web team, basically. So we're bringing on a new web resource. We're bringing on a new sales resource to make new connections with prospective clients, which we're excited for. So yeah, little changes there. What about you?
Yeah, I was going to say, you've been able to find people okay? You've got a lot of applicants for your slots?
Yeah, I mean, we use Indeed to actually we use an HR platform called Bamboo, which I'm going to do a video on one of these days. And I can't say enough about an HR platform. One of the benefits of it is it allows you to kind of manage your job profile. So when you need a resource, you just basically flick a switch and it starts syndicating the post. And they syndicate to Indeed as one of the networks. And yeah, the applicants keep streaming in. Digital marketing, web, sales, that sort of thing. It lends itself pretty well to the work from home person.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, we can hire anywhere. It doesn't have to be regional, resource doesn't have to be regional to us specifically. So yeah, we're fortunate that we're having pretty good response there.
Yeah.
What about you? What's going on?
Oh, yeah, same old stuff. A lot with the state mandated IRA program. We've been talking about that. A lot of quarter end stuff and tax time. So this first couple weeks of April are always exciting. You've got people looking for some last minute tax documents, and then you've got your cycling through your reports for the end of first quarter. So a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But yeah, pretty much business as usual. It will be an interesting rest of the week with my wife home, because it's hard not to want to at least, have a little bit longer lunch or go for a walk or that sort of
for
stuff.
sure.
But
For sure.
yeah, we'll spread it out. We'll be all right. She's as busy as I am. So she's downstairs recording, sucking up bandwidth, all that kind of stuff.
Right. Since last time we met, I think, did you close a new deal? Is that something that you'd like to share? Or?
Yeah, we were talking about that. This was it was a referral to from another advisor, which is always nice. So this sort of exceeded his capabilities or specialties, which I think overall, and I know you've talked about this in your business too, is a good thing as people realize, what their niche is and what they're good at, because so many of these professions are so specialized, and rules and regulations and technologies change so quickly. So it was a referral from him. He had kind of tried to do it on his own. It didn't quite work out. So that was good.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, my client acquisition, I don't know. Do you have goals for client acquisition, or what are your at this point?
You mean just like new business goals?
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to take over the world. I always laugh
Right.
whenever I meet a new, during the sales expansion process of our business. I've met with various resources and contractors, and salespeople love saying, "What are your sales goals?" And I always laugh at that question because it's like all of it.
Right.
Our goal is all of it. We want all the business. But no, we you can't really. What I'm coming to learn as I learn about sales and marketing and continue to expert myself on that realm, you really can't have meaningful sales goals unless you have a measurable sales function. An actual sales function, in my experience. I mean, other people, if you're a retail store and you're relying on drive-by traffic or walk-by traffic, I mean, you basically, it's a known quantity. But in the service industry, we're a service provider, professional services provider, and it's a sales cycle can be long, complex, a lot of variables, that sort of thing. So, over the years, I've been building a sales function in the business that can give me something that I can say, how much do we want to grow this year?
Mhm.
And go ahead.
Yeah, I know there's definitely a certain rhythm to onboarding new clients and that kind. I mean, if you're running a gas station or an ice cream shop, I mean, you're dealing with multiple customers a day and that sort of function.
Right.
So,
Well, you can't
um,
force people to drive past your gas station more, right? You
right.
can't divert roads to funnel
Mhm.
your um, fortunately, the professional service industry, like, would you consider yourself a professional service
Yeah,
provider, so to speak?
sure.
Yeah. So, fortunately, well, although you're regulated through, you have a geographic regulation or constraint, right?
Y- Yeah, yeah. Connecticut, and then you're allowed to have up to 5 clients outside the state.
Right.
5
So,
clients in each state outside the state. Yeah.
even Connecticut, there's enough fruit on the tree for
Mhm.
you. So, it's nice that you're not, in essence, not geographically constrained in that context. So we're not either, right? So I hate using the expression "what good came out of COVID," but one of the good things that did come out of COVID for us is we signed clients all over the country,
Mhm.
because people were, we decentralized the company geographically. We're headquartered in Hartford, but we decentralized in 2017, meaning we've been 100% work from home workforce, since 2017. And so I tried to transition our sales model and our sales process to a work from home. I wanted to take sales meetings with prospective clients telephonically and over Teams meetings and that sort of thing. Didn't work well until COVID.
Right.
And then people were forced to conduct business telephonically, and fortunately it seems to be hanging on.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
you, there's no reason why when I sign up a software vendor or something, there's really no reason why I need to meet with that account manager in person. And I know that you have you probably, well, my understanding is you probably feel a little more towards a traditional in what you're doing, which, I don't want to poo-poo it. I mean, whatever works for everybody, what works for everybody. But yeah, it's anyways, I'm babbling about sales.
No, but I think yeah, I mean, for me, if it's local and it makes sense, at some point, I would like to see them in person. I don't know if that's, old fashioned or not, but I mean, we could be 10 months or a year into the relationship and I haven't met them in person. That's fine with me. But at some point, it would be nice to be in the same room with a lot of these people, you know?
The fact is, I enjoy interfacing with my clients and prospects in the real. I do
Mhm.
enjoy that.
Yeah.
The sad reality, though, is it's really not scalable. There
Mhm.
is a point in which the solopreneur has way too many sales leads or sales prospects, or
Mhm.
too much service to provide, or too much administration to administer, where the hour in the car round trip or one way, it just, that time kind of stacks up. And
Mhm.
so the only way to scale with that is either hiring more sales and administrative resources, or coming up with a process that's leaner. So,
Mhm.
right, I'm past. I mean, if we had a prospect that was large enough and wanted me to, come on, fly to them, or, drive to them or something, we would do that. We would definitely do that, because we're still a
Right.
relationship based company, for sure. I mean, that is what we continue to say is our differentiator. But that doesn't mean, like, I'm an efficiency psycho. So it's always, if I can build you and I, for example, we've essentially built our relationship telephonically or
Mhm.
virtually. I think, we had a beer once, but basically we've been connected virtually. So
Yeah.
I think it's an effective way to build and manage robust relationships. So, um, rant over.
Yeah. No, and I think, future generations will obviously feel that way too. They're used to doing, I mean, they've spent so much time in virtual schools and all that kind of stuff that this will be second nature
Metaverse
to
in
them.
3, 2, 1.
Yeah, I know. No, we weren't going to go there today.
Yeah, we're not gonna go
We'll
there
see. We'll see
today.
if we can get sucked into the metaverse or autonomous vehicles. But
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So that's cool. What about any new content going out?
Yeah, we did a nice interview last week with a woman from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce.
I
She's
saw
the
that.
vice president of retirement policy there. So, we've spoken on and off over the last few years. She's super interested, and she's super interesting because she brings she's an attorney. She has that litigation background, and now they're actually doing something where they're starting to push back against a lot of these excessive fee lawsuits. They started in a wave of about 3 or 4 years ago, where class action lawsuits against these big companies, and saying your 401k is too expensive. And early on, a lot of these cases had some more legitimacy to them, but now it's just they're just chasing every big company looking to get them to settle. And the attorneys make out with a decent paycheck, and the plan participants, the employees, get a check for 27 cents or something. So the chamber's trying to push back on that, while at the same time saying, well, there is an issue here. There are plans that are too expensive and don't have the oversight, but at the same time, these are getting a little bit out of hand. So that was an interesting interview.
Nice. Yeah, it was a good video. I did watch it. I started watching it live and then had interruption, but I had to come back to it. But that's good. Are you getting any good views on it or traction on it or
Yeah,
response?
I mean, there's certain views, as you start starting certain content, as you start doing yours, that are out there just to kind of have it and say that you have it,
Right.
versus ones that are actually going to drive traffic, or
Right.
this is not going to get 2 million views. It's not the Uber driver driving across my lawn or something like that. It's
I
it's not
forgot.
that kind of content. It's
I forgot about that. Can you
yeah,
believe that? Do you want to tell
no,
you want to tell the audience what you're talking
no,
about?
you can tell it. It's your story. It's your clip.
Okay, so what Brian's talking about is my first TikTok video um has gone viral. I posted it last week, and um I was really like pushing off TikTok. My wife and my daughters have been my wife and my older daughter specifically have been kind of watching TikTok and getting into TikTok, and they'll pull it up on the Amazon Fire Stick on the TV, and we'll watch. It's basically America's Funniest Videos on steroids. I mean,
Right.
it's really very funny. And then my older daughter, she wants to make TikToks and stuff with her friends, and that's all good. We're closely monitoring it, making sure there's actually like a family feature of TikTok, which is kind of
Mm.
nice. Um, but my daughters and my wife are like, you should post something. You should post something, because I can kind of be a ham in front of the camera from time to time, and I post. I'm an oversharer for sure, and I kind of push it off, and then this crazy thing happened. Last week we ordered Uber Eats, and the whole experience, we order out or take out often, right, through Uber Eats
Mm.
and those services, and it's a pretty routine experience most of the time. But this experience started off kind of odd. The food was just late, and it surprisingly, the food's rarely late or feeling like it's late. But anyways, the food shows up, car pulls up in the driveway. Now we have cameras all over the house and on the driveways and the doorbell and all that stuff, so we know what's going on right away. And so this car pulls in, and he's sitting there for minutes. Finally comes to the door. Now I'm running around the house doing laundry. And are you gonna pull it up? Are,
Yeah.
are you pulling it up? So I'm doing laundry, and I'm coming down the stairs with a laundry basket in my hand, and I see him standing at the door, and I open the door, and he's like, "Hey, here's your food." And I was like, "Oh, great, thanks. That's wonderful." And he's like, "Oh yeah, sorry, I was late or whatever. It's my first day." And I was like, "No problem. Thank you, and good luck on your first day, right?" So I take the food in, put it in the kitchen, set the laundry. Now we're sitting down and eating, and I can see on the camera that he's still there. So now it's like awkward, and this guy sits in our driveway for, I think I have the long version, which I think is somewhere around 11 minutes. maybe longer, 12, 15 minutes, something like that. He's sitting in the driveway. Now it's becoming
Driver,
uncomfortable.
good luck on his first day.
My first day on the job today. So,
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Hey, how's it going so far?
Yeah, so let me just lay down a little more background.
Yeah. Okay.
So anyways, he's parked in our parking driveway throughout the whole meal, and then after the meal, and it was very uncomfortable. And then as I'm watching camera after, kind of as we're finishing up dinner, because I kind of had it aside, he starts up his car. I was like, okay, he's shoving off. Oh, I think my wife texts him, hey, is everything okay, or something? And I don't know if he replied to her that he was calling support or Uber support. He's looking for his next pickup or something. Okay, fine. It all seemed normal. Okay, fine. So then he starts his car and he starts moving, and he makes for what looks like he's going to do a K-turn in the driveway. And the driveway is wide enough that that's possible. But the road is not, it's a busy road, but it's not busy enough that you can't back out of it. I mean, an adult can really manage and navigate our driveway and backing out, no problem. So anyways, he starts for a K-turn and then just doesn't do the K-turn in the driveway, but he just drives over the lawn. And at first it was like, what? So just the background before that, 2 hours before, my father had just finished helping me, and the trolls on TikTok are like, I posted a subsequent follow-up video to answer. The yard looks like crap because me and my dad, and mostly my father, spent the last 2 days sand leveling the lawn. And if anybody knows what sand leveling is, it's just a way of getting all the dimples and bumps out of your yard, and sand is a nice medium to do that with, and that's what golf courses do, and that sort of thing. So we hadn't done it before. We'd done leveling, but using like topsoil and things, but we wanted to do a little more kind of an extreme leveling or whatever. So the yard looks like crap, but it was just because 2 hours before we put the rakes away, we had just finished. So there was a little at first like, what are you I cannot believe like this guy's driving over the lawn. And it just was very frustrating. So the girls, I don't know, I just thought it was going to be funny. So I just took the Ring camera footage, and I was kind of being cheeky about it at first, and I was like, and then I was putting the guy in Uber Eats on blast. I tweeted Uber Eats. I was like, this is not acceptable, and this was all within the first 20 minutes of watching this guy drive on my lawn. And then all of a sudden, I don't know, I have the notifications turned off on TikTok, and then I wake up the next day or something, and it was like 200,000 views, and the whole house went crazy. And then we just for the rest of the week watched this TikTok video just climb in this rankings. So without further ado, I don't know, you want to play it and
yeah, I don't know if the sound will come through, so you might have to provide a quick play-by-play, but we'll see.
Thank you for your help.
Yeah, you good. Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
Good luck.
All right, man.
Good luck, I say. I'm hearing it on my end. I don't know. The door slam. So there he goes. Now this is after he was sitting through our whole meal. K-turn start, and bam. Now it's a 3-time speed up. He just drove over the lawn.
That's crazy.
I know. It's just crazy antisocial behavior. But I don't know, how many views are on it now? I haven't even looked.
I think it said 2.1 or something like that.
2.3,
yeah.
2.3 million is views on it. And yeah, I don't even know I'm not going to sign it up. But yeah, so that was our excitement personally last week, as my first TikTok went viral. And my older daughter was just squealing with delight. It was so funny.
And now do you let them record videos or just watch videos?
My youngest doesn't really participate. She's just 5 years old. She knows her sister's playing on TikTok or something, so she'll come in and jump around in the background or something. But no, it's mostly my 9-year-old, and she does, she watches. And I think the terms of service require you to be 13. I think all the social networks are 13, but in practical sense, if they're closely monitored and stuff, I'm not a big fan of it, but it's I lost that war, I think. So, so I do just watch it closely and it's nice because my children are becoming technology natives, so there's a benefit to that.
Yeah, they're gonna have to record video and do all sorts of different content for probably whatever career they're in. So, not such a bad thing.
Yeah. In fact, Camilla is starting to ask me if she can do TikToks for my company and videos for my company. So maybe there's my built-in social media manager in the future.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, you could play into that. So easy that a kid could do it, or have them do your demos and stuff.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, that was pretty funny. So after this afternoon, my latest content, I didn't post anything last week because I was really kind of busy with some internal administration. Like I said, we're building out the sales team, building out the marketing team, and that was kind of distracting, unfortunately. So I didn't get to post anything last week for business, but I am going live at 2:00 this afternoon to do a rant on cybersecurity training. I think I ranted about that before here. But just to reiterate, like I'm kind of really like pushing it hard. I'm going all in on recurring cybersecurity training platforms for businesses, individuals even, and small businesses with just an employee or two, up to 1,000 employee companies. I'm viewing cybersecurity training, recurring cybersecurity training, measurable recurring cybersecurity training, as important as antivirus on a computer, because there's only so much we can do with the software to kind of act as the shield against virus activity, malware, that sort of thing. But if a user keeps clicking accept, allow, install, it's just a matter of time. The antivirus software that we deploy now is actually a technological upgrade from the antivirus of the past and present. Still, it's being sold, where the antivirus had to know of a virus and then train its antivirus with what's called a virus definition file that would tell the antivirus, if you see this, block it. The problem with that is that model always makes for a cat and mouse situation. The virus has to be engineered, then actively infected and captured, and then trained to the antivirus. It's just not a good model, So now there's products out there that are behavioral analysis software. So the antivirus that we sell and recommend to our clients does actual behavioral analysis, which is better in both terms because, for years we've had to kind of like whitelist or allow list or allow filter our database softwares and our known good softwares in the antivirus. So the antivirus wouldn't scan the transactions. I don't know if you've ever installed antivirus on a computer and your computer just grinded to a halt, especially if you open a database program or something. The behavioral analysis type antivirus doesn't scan what it doesn't need. It can identify, and measure through artificial intelligence what you're doing on the computer and if it's okay or not. So anyways, long story short, yeah, my video is coming up. It's just I think a 6 or 12 minute session I'm going to do on cybersecurity training platforms and how I view them as important as antivirus.
Okay. Do you have a guest for that, or you're just walking through it yourself?
No, it's just me.
Okay.
I think what I'm so the EVERNET reviews channel is going well. We're recording product service demonstrations with vendors and service providers, and that's going really well. I'm really excited about that. But I'm just filling in. I'm trying to come to the content creation with like bringing value. What every time I hit the record button, the first thing I ask myself is, what value am I bringing right now? And so that's what I'm playing around, basically seeing if shorts are going to be useful for an audience out there. Just kind of seeing what takes shape, but just trying to get in front of the camera and try to produce value of some sort on some frequency.
Yeah. And are you going live to what platforms do you go live to?
So we are using StreamYard is our recording software, which there's a couple missing features in it, but it is pretty good. It's nice because it's a web-based platform that allows me and my production team to work together in the platform. So you don't have this like record experience locally, and then it's kind of like uploading videos. So I think what we're doing now is at first we were streaming just to YouTube, and then we were syndicating or sharing the video through social posts to the various social platforms. But I just met with my team yesterday, and I think what we're going to try to do now is I think we're going to record to LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. What am I missing? All the big ones. I don't know.
Yeah. I think you hit them all there.
Yeah.
Facebook
and
LinkedIn.
TikTok. And soon to be TikTok. So
yeah,
you got to be where the people are. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I just got some alert that you were going live somewhere else. So I think you've cloned yourself or something.
It's not a I'll let everybody know that one of the cool things with StreamYard is you can actually pre-record and then schedule the recording to stream as a live recording. So it presents as, I don't know if anybody's supposed to say this or not, but who cares, right? It's not a big deal. But yeah, it's pre-recorded, but we're scheduled to stream it live at 2:00. Yeah. So you'll notice the nice yellow shirt will go away in 2 hours. It's not me changing.
Right. I was watching some social media expert yesterday, and they were raving about LinkedIn Live and how LinkedIn is gonna really push those and promote those to the top of people's feeds. So we'll see. I don't see a lot of people going LinkedIn Live yet. You see
a couple
2 to 5 minute videos here and there.
Yeah. But I think you're right. That's what I've read too, is that the social medias are valuing the live recordings heavier than no recordings, and B, pre-recordings or kind of posted videos or whatever.
Right. Right.
So I'm hoping the StreamYard kind of scheduled live recording feature will kind of let us do both, right? Let us do the pre-recording so we can pull the ripcord if something goes wrong or have technical difficulties and need to re-record. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool feature.
Yeah, there's something to the live videos that just seem to work a little bit better. I think I said before, when I'm talking with investment folks, sometimes they prefer the live from a compliance standpoint because they say it's a lot easier. We don't have to have it supervised. And then other ones prefer the recorded one because their compliance team feels like they need to watch it and edit it and whatever. So yeah, it's interesting. Yep.
Yeah, for the EVERNET reviews that we're doing with vendors and products and service providers, we're giving them the option. So we're recording live, unscripted, and then the other benefit is we can kind of let them have a final final say whether they like the video and they're okay with publishing or not.
Yeah.
The other thing too is I don't ever want to do scripted content. I know you've done some scripted content, and obviously and we've talked about this before, but the high quality content out there is scripted, the high quality informational content. I just don't have the bandwidth to do that. I don't have the time or the ambition to do a highly produced video, but I do value all of the ones that I consume personally, and I give credit to where credit's due. So it's just not the format that I'm gonna. It's just not what I'm going to do, and I know that if I'm not going to do it, then I'm not going to do it.
Right. Yeah. Even the interviews that I do, I'll have an outline of things that I want to cover, and I'll kind of check them as I go along. But a lot of times you obviously get off that. You want to do follow-up questions, because if you write out the questions, then you're going to end up totally switching gears and bouncing around and missing the opportunity for follow-up questions and all that. So,
right. So you want to talk about the news? Talk about the
Yeah,
page?
we could talk about that. Yep. We've
So
got,
if you haven't already liked and subscribed, go ahead and do that now.
mhm.
In the last week, Megan on our team has apparently, we're backing our way into building this as a brand and a business. I know week 10 was a big cutoff, or episode 10 was a big milestone for us where we said we do a website, and that's forthcoming. But we did have a Facebook group that we started, Finance and Technology Insights, and then Megan on our marketing team has started booting up our social pages for Finance and Technology Insights. So what Brian has on screen now is our Facebook page, not to be confused with our Facebook group, which I think is the group subordinate to the page. If you click the groups tab.
Yeah. So when you click group, you can when you click groups on the page, you can go to the group here. So the group's designed to be more interactive. As we get this built out a little bit, we'll have, let the listeners and watchers choose which topics we cover maybe, and do some fun sort of, maybe some shorts during the week and things like that. Whereas the page is more for, updates about the show itself and that kind of stuff. The page right now is important because that's where we can put the podcast on. It's
Right.
just another outlet for that. For whatever reason, they won't let that go directly to the group. So with the pages, to nerd out a little bit, they let you put the RSS feed in there and attach it to a page, which is nice. So as soon as we upload the audio and it goes out on all the podcast platforms, it also goes out on Facebook as well.
Right. So the other thing we were using was Flipboard to curate our news articles that we would talk about throughout the show. I'm all about vendor consolidation. It's one of the things I like to do for my own company. I don't, sometimes it can be kind of crazy when you're just kind of sprawled all over the internet on the tools that you use. I've been using Flipboard personally for a lot of years and just using it muscle memory. But I did find that Facebook is starting to has a pretty kind of feature rich news aggregator. So when I open when I want to read the news, now I can open Facebook, and on my bottom button on my phone on the app, there's a news thing, and I just read. And it seems like in most cases, the news publications and the articles are pretty much on parity with Flipboard. So what I've been doing was I've been publishing or pinning articles to our Facebook page. And it just seems to make sense because if our community is going to focus around the social networks, I don't think Flipboard, Flipboard does have, I do see people like and comment on some news articles and things on Flipboard. So I don't want to take that away from Flipboard, but you got to go where the people are. And I think it's obvious that Facebook is a dominant social network. So
right.
I'm going to start leaning on pinning articles there a little bit more, and maybe we'll let Flipboard go into the night.
Yeah, I like Flipboard. They don't make it easy to share things from the outside. From what I've noticed, it's almost like you have to go there, and I'm not as proficient at it as you are, but you almost have to make it a point to go there. Whereas if you're on Facebook, you can see something and share it and kind of send it around while you're there.
Yeah. So what's new in news that you want to talk about? Any of the articles that you pinned or I pinned that?
Let's see here. Have you been pinning them more to the group or the page this week?
I think I was transitioning and I was confused. As I saw the page come online, I was like, oh, maybe I'll pin to the page. So I do have
well, I'll do a quick one that I just kind of threw in there for fun. We always joke about the incidents of having technology that's able to do something, but it's not being utilized. So it seems like every Sunday I'm always poking fun at the NFL because the two guys come out with the sticks and they're measuring how far.
I think the same thing.
It's like,
I'm so glad I'm not alone in that.
No, but I mean they've got they've obviously got the technology to do that. And the other one that bugs me too is like whether the ball crossed the end zone or whatever, crosses the end line to make it a touchdown. It's like, just just put a couple sensors in the tip of the ball and run a laser. Like, you'll be able to tell at least that part. I mean, maybe you can't tell if their knee was down or whatever, but there's certainly far more things that I think all sports can do. I think it's interesting. Sometimes they're way out in front on a lot of things, but sometimes the traditionalists hold things back. But this is the USFL talking about their newer league, and one of their things that they're doing is they're going to introduce technology to help automate the first down decisions, which will be welcome. And usually that's where a lot of these ideas come from. It's from the upstart leagues and the challengers. So where it might not be the league may not survive, a lot of their ideas do. So, you think of the ABA going to the NBA. I mean, it was the ABA that came up with the 3-point line, the slam dunk contest, and all that. And that eventually moved to the NBA as the ABA folded, and, the other football leagues and all that kind of stuff. So, so it's good that we'll finally have some new technology on the football front, although it hasn't filtered through to the NFL yet.
So specifically, just for the listeners of the podcast, the article is it says is I don't know, who is that from, the San Francisco Times, or I don't know.
Yeah, Sports Illustrated.
Sports Illustrated. So the title of the article: USFL introduces technology to automate first down decisions, and so that is in the context of how laughably inaccurate the chains are in the NFL, right? I'm mansplaining. I'm sorry. I just wanted to give context.
No, that's really good. And I think of I don't know what year it was, if the Madden first rolled out, the video game, when they rolled out, the guys would walk across the screen with the chains and measure that. Like, the first 2 or 3 times, you're like, wow, this is the coolest thing ever. And then eventually you're like, oh my God, this is like, it's exhausting as it is in real life.
So funny. So funny. Yeah, I always laugh because, I mean, the measurement of a yard in and of itself is so imprecise, right? I mean, it's surgery with a machete instead of a scalpel. So yeah, the traditionalists for sure are going to push back on that. I mean, how much do you let the refs kind of manage the game with humans and human to human, or do you how much data and systems do you build into the game? And that's, I think you're a viewer of sports, I think much more. You're a big baseball guy, right? Like, I don't watch baseball.
Right.
And I don't watch basketball.
In the minor leagues, they're testing at some different levels the computer operated strike zone, so the umpire's no longer calling balls and strikes. It's sent from a laser beam in center field that outlines the strike zone, and whether the ball, I mean, you have similar technology at home. The problem is, what most people don't understand is that the strike zone's actually, it's 3-dimensional. It's not square like you would see on the TV screen. So it may not, the pitch may not cross that box in the front of the plate, but it's crossing it at the back. So watching it on television is an imperfect, because you're like, well, it was outside the box. Well, yeah, maybe in that one dimension, but it could have come back in on the backdoor slider, as they call it, something like that. So
that's
so we'll see if that makes its way up to the major leagues. I mean, we talk about this. We said it last week. Everybody's like, I'll never do this or I'll never do that. But the same things happen in sports. Like, instant replay will never catch on. People won't tolerate that. Baseball will never have instant replay. They'll never have interleague play, all that stuff. But they bring it online.
So true. So I posted, two of the articles I posted to the Facebook page I want to talk about. I don't know which one to start first, but we always rant and talk about autonomy. And did you see this headline about the Cruise autonomous taxi getting pulled over in San Francisco by the cops?
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
So everybody picked it up, but this is an article pinned to our Facebook page from The Verge. Headline says, "Here's what happens when cops pull over a driverless Cruise vehicle." And the video is pretty funny. But basically, a cop pulled over a Cruise autonomous taxi because it didn't have lights on. And as the cop approached or was leaving the driver's side vehicle, driver's side door of the vehicle, the car pulls away. Can I show this video? I think it's somebody,
Yeah.
Seth Weintraub on Twitter's video. Here we go. Hopefully it's safe for work here. It's 3 minutes long. I don't know if that's so here's the cop getting out of this cruiser, approaching the car door, sees that nobody's in the car, tests the door handle, it's locked, walks away from the car back to his cruiser, and the taxi drives away, which is funny, but the company, and then it pulls over, puts its hazard lights on, and and then the cop then reapproaches the cruise vehicle. And it just, I'm going to stop there. So the company, let's see, a cruise spokesperson explained the autonomous vehicle didn't drive away to escape from the police. It was trying to find a safer location to pull over in a move that most human drivers can't get away with so easily. I guess that's commentary from The Verge. But so what do you think of that?
That's interesting. Did the cop know that it was driverless when he got out of the car?
According to this, after stopping the Chevy Bolt cruise vehicle, police officer goes up to the window, tries to unsuccessfully open the door. The autonomous vehicle drives away. Not sure if we get let's see, the vehicle, quote, the vehicle yielded to the police car, then pulled over to the nearest safest location. An officer contacted cruise personnel, and no citation was issued. We work closely with the SFPD on how to interact with their vehicles. Now, let me just first by saying, I think that everything I don't think this is a transaction gone wrong. I just think that this is one of those experiences where imagery can be manipulated by the media and naysayers and anybody for that matter. It's funny to watch, right? But in the context of the vehicle actually leaving an engagement with a cop to pull over to a safer location, that's an odd. I mean, humans can't do that. I mean,
No.
I think even when I was a teenager, I think I may have rolled through a stop sign when I was a teenager and completed my. No, I was on the Berlin Turnpike in the left turn lane, and the cop turned on his lights, and I finished my U-turn on the Berlin Turnpike and then turned right into a gas station after I completed the U-turn, and he cited me for that.
Oh.
He cited me for failure to yield to failure to stop or something. And
Wow.
I clearly said I was trying to get us out of an unsafe condition, and I was cited for it. So I have personal experience with that. What do you think?
No, there's a lot to unpack there. I mean, the first thing is it's great that the car even knew to pull over, right? I mean, that's a plus. The fact that it didn't have its lights on, that could be, and that seems like of all the autonomous features, that would be one of the easiest to know whether it needs to have his lights on or not. So that part is a little bit scary, I guess.
I thought the same thing for sure. And interaction from the article, interaction between San Francisco Police Department and the autonomous vehicle after it's pulled over for not having its light on. That's from the Verge, whether that's an official report or not. I mean, they weren't cited. So if they weren't cited, I mean, I know that there's a lot of discretion from a police officer. Was that the actual case or not? I mean, or you know how reports can get it wrong.
Yeah. And I don't know if the legal system and police forces have, I mean, you can't, if there's no individual, can you cite a company? You know, if I get pulled over and I say, I tried turning my lights on, but they didn't work, they're not going to say, okay, we understand, we're going to send a ticket to Subaru. Like, that's not an acceptable answer.
I have to believe that under this technology, emerging technology, that has been thought of in the context of like there early days when this stuff was being discussed and contemplated, they were thinking, well, the car's going to have to pass a driver's test, just like a 16-year-old has to drive a passer. You know, then there's the conversation of liability. If the car crashes, who's liable? Is it well, certainly if you have an owned car that you're running some autonomy, you know what I mean, then the reliability is on you. There's this debate that goes on, well, in these robo taxis, who's liable? Well, it's obvious who's liable. It's the OEM, right? It's the operator. As far as citing, I mean, in this context, if there was a citation to be issued, yeah, it would be the operator, right? I mean, I'm sure they must have some mechanism for it. I mean, I'm making a huge assumption, right? But
yeah, I don't know either. And then the other thing I thought of, is there going to eventually be, if not already, some sort of linking system between law enforcement, so that when it's sort of trying to think of an analogy, but like when it's being pulled over, that it's like the car's locked down, so it can't, like the cop would decide when the interaction is over and the car can proceed, or when it's in sort of its web, so to speak, and it's pulled over. And is there going to be a way for law enforcement to talk to these vehicles?
Cruise does have a YouTube channel, and they have quite a few videos out there. They spoke about that. They did speak about the protocol that had to be developed and implemented for interaction with safety workers, for sure. And part of their service, they're fleet operator, so there is a close connection, if not real-time connection, to their call center or their control and command center with every car out there. So the system can be shut down remotely, and I think even the police officer can interact with a car operator, and I think that might have happened in this context.
Okay.
It's fun new world. I don't want to linger on it too long because we're not the autonomy vehicle technology show, but it is one of the things that I am fascinating with, and I just thought that was the video was very funny.
Yeah, that is neat. I mean, it's something that we're going to have to deal with, and it's good that everybody made out okay here, and it wasn't safe, and it didn't pull away while somebody was in front of it, or while the cop had his hand in the window or something like that. So,
right, for sure.
Yeah.
Do you want to leapfrog articles? Do you have another one?
Well, let's see. Well, metaverse. Are we on a metaverse?
Are you going to go there?
Hiatus, or no? I was just scrolling through our stories. We could touch on Kmart, but that's not very exciting, I don't think.
I just thought business, right? So we are finance and technology, and let me just add that to the stream because I have that up here. I pinned this, I think, last night. I can't help but get the feels, with this article. I mean, I don't know. Did that prompt any emotion or nostalgia in you just to read this article? Kmart set to close another location, leaving just 3 stores in the entire U.S.
I know it is kind of sad that you don't have much selection. I mean, you're pretty much down to Walmart and Target, and even their markets are a little bit different. So you do sort of miss that. It's just we've been through this so many times here. I mean, we could all run down the list of retail, big box retail that's kind of come and go. I mean, just in the state or nationally, or even the discount, the 5 and dimes and that sort of stuff. And you contrast that with something like a Dollar General or whatever. It's like there's one of those popping up like every couple miles, and they're all exactly the same. And not that Kmart's had a ton of personality or whatever, but it's you're right. Any of these stores that you go through as a kid, or it makes you feel old too when you remember Christina Aguilera was doing Kmart commercials,
right?
And the company's not even around anymore. So I wonder how that makes her feel.
Right. I can, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I mean, we can pour one out for Ames, Caldor. I don't know. Do you remember Caldor?
Yeah, sure.
And I don't even know, was that a national brand or not? But
yeah.
These maybe someday they'll call it, you're going to go the way of the box store, the big rise to fame and plunder, and then a sad decline, this seemingly avoidable decline. This article from CBS News, which I think this is who this is, CBS News, they say that the failure of Kmart is attributable to incompetence and
Oh,
just
yeah.
poor management. I mean,
Yeah.
because let's face it, what's the difference between Caldor, Ames, Walmart, and Target? It's nothing but just cleaner floors and appealable logo and background music and while you're shopping, right? I mean,
Sure.
otherwise they're all the same. I mean, what's the identity otherwise?
No, I mean, you're dealing in high volume, low margin businesses, so that slight tweak here or there in processes or, making the wrong bet for the holidays, I mean, that could be a big deal. Under
Right.
ordering, over ordering, where somebody
Totally.
didn't, that's all, yeah, I
You,
mean, which
in,
is
in fact, you know where the term Black Friday comes from, right?
yeah, 'cause it's the day the organizations go in the black, they finally start to make money for the year.
Right. And what day does Black Friday fall on?
Yeah, day after Thanksgiving.
Day after Thanksgiving. So imagine you run a business that you're not profitable until the last 45 days of the year.
Yeah.
That's wild. I mean, obviously, they missed the whole e-commerce thing, and
Mhm.
Amazon's eating their lunch. And I've been watching Best Buy, for example, over the years, just see how they're navigating uh, e-commerce and things, and they're trying to hang in there too. And I feel like we're going to see them next, because although they did ramp up their e-commerce a bit, so their website and online shopping experience is somewhat usable. But anyways, I caught the feels, I guess, when
Yeah.
I saw 3 Kmart stores remaining in the U.S. It's
I'm
just
surprised. I would have guessed more than that, but I don't know where there is one. There was that one in I think it was Southbury that was hanging on for a little bit. But oh well, another one bites the dust, I guess, right?
yeah. We have time for one more,
Yeah,
or
sure. Yeah, let's see what we got.
so I have the one more, but I don't want to hijack them. Do you have any?
No, you could take it. Yeah.
So, um, a little background. My wife is an attorney for Lego, so I'm a lifelong Lego fan and consumer long before I met my wife, and then it's just irony at its peak, I guess, that my wife works for Lego, and we just love the company so much, and we love the brand so much, and you know, Lego Lego was, I guess, and I don't know this officially, but I guess Lego up to somewhere around 2000 was struggling. And I think that as history goes, they brought in a new CEO that led them towards all of the licensing of external IPs like the Marvel, um, Star Wars,
Harry
Indiana
Potter.
Jones, Harry Potter. So that's just been a huge renaissance for them, and just a huge opening. But for the past, I don't know, 5 to 10 years, maybe 5 years. I don't want to say I had that much foresight, but for the last 5 years at least, when I saw Microsoft buy Minecraft, Minecraft was a small startup that just booted that up, and then Microsoft bought Minecraft, and now continues to sell and promote that. That was like a real eye opener for me. I mean, I was, that was when I saw that, I was like, man, Lego should have made that acquisition.
Right.
Lego, or flat out copied it, like just literally flat out copied it.
Mhm.
And I don't. My wife does well to keep me isolated from anything that might be coming on the horizon from Lego and that sort of thing. So she has to keep things. She has to keep things from me, basically.
Yeah.
But no, that's for the good of Lego. But so, anyways, when I saw this, like I fell out of my chair. The news article from CNBC: Sony and Lego family bet big on, quote, the metaverse with $2 billion investment in Epic Games. And I think that for me, the headline speaks for itself. It the second miss that I think Lego had was not buying or flat out copying Roblox. Are you guys onto Roblox yet in your house? I know your son's
No,
3.
not yet.
So it was Minecraft with my son. My son's 13.
Yeah, that was my nephew. Yeah, he's 13 also.
Yeah, it was Minecraft, and
Mhm.
then it was Fortnite, and
Yeah.
then the girls, my 9-year-old is all on Roblox, which is awesome because it's kid friendly and social. All of their friends, they connect on on there with each other, and they're on iPads and building things and just having that experience. And I'm just like, I'm sitting there like, upon my poor wife, the things that she has to listen to me chirp about electric vehicles, autonomous vehicles, and things that I think Lego should do. And
Right.
one of the things that I'm like, why are you guys not building a digital platform
Mhm.
with the Lego brand? And the poor lady just has to endure that from me, had to endure that from me for a lot of years. And I get it, like the Lego brand is a kid brand, and there's maybe a concern of all of the harms that could happen with digital ecosystems and digital environments and that sort of thing. But that kids can choke on Lego bricks too, you know what I mean? So I mean,
Sure.
there's
Sure.
risk,
And
and go ahead.
you brought up an interesting age there. That would be the age where they would sort of transition away from Legos anyway. I would think, 12, 13, maybe they're doing the big Star Wars, the
Right.
Millennium Falcon and that kind of stuff.
But here's what I would say. Like, oh man, I went on this rant with again. Imagine if you could. You're in the digital environment, and you build a structure or you build something using scale accurate the Lego system.
Sure.
And imagine this: you can buy that digitally. So I mean, let's face it, it's all about money, right? So
Mhm.
digital economies are huge in these Fortnites and Minecraft. It's all about buying skins and buildings and all of
Sure.
this stuff, right? So you've got the revenue model for Lego, where they can sell you the digital versions of the real products. How about the inverse though? Imagine if a kid can build a structure or build something in your Lego multiverse, or what do they call metaverse,
Mhm.
and now you just like on a menu you just click send to Lego and buy. So
Right.
now for $69.99 the kid can build something and then have it shipped to him and then
Mhm.
reconstruct it. I mean, imagine this. I was a big train nerd when I was a
Mhm.
kid. Imagine if you could build your train landscape in the virtual, and then just
Right.
buy it all, have it arrive, and then now you're assembling it in front of you. I mean, like, so
Yeah.
the money kind of flows both ways. You can there's still plenty of legs left on the blocks in that context. You know what I
Mhm.
mean?
Right, and it's a sort of a package purchase. So you're like, all right, you can get the physical box of Legos to put this, Harry Potter scene to whatever, $80, but for an extra $20, we'll give you the physical, and then we'll give you the online license. So once you build it here, then you go build it online, do the
Even
same
better.
thing. And they already have the branding now with the Legoland, so they could use that as like the
Oh
step
yeah.
in, and it becomes the online Legoland, and then you sort of marry those two together. So you have that physical destination structure already, and now you could have the metaverse
How about this?
destination structure.
You buy Lego branded products, or not. I mean, I think this, to some degree, this can be interpreted too. But let's say you buy Lego branded sets, you assemble them. You've got a village or some set that you built. You just built a castle or something, right?
Mhm.
You take the app on the Oculus, for example, or even if it's not even virtual, but this lends itself to virtual reality. You
Mhm.
download the app on the Lego app on the virtual on the Oculus, and you in your in your account, it knows what products you bought or whatever,
Mhm.
and then now imagine walking through your Lego set in the virtual reality. I mean,
Right.
endless
And even
opportunities.
Yeah, I know we could keep going on this, but the chance to try out like different upgrades or whatever. So you take a picture of your physical village, and you're like, "Oh, I wonder how this would look, or wonder how this would look." and then you can put on your headset or view it on your monitor and say, oh yeah, that fits in well, or whatever, and then you just click to buy, and it's at your door the next day.
What a beautiful marriage of the real and the virtual. I
No,
think
makes
I
too
think
much
it's a
sense.
huge opportunity for Lego. So when I saw this headline from CNBC, Sony and Lego bet big on the metaverse with $2 billion investment in Epic Games. And I'll just conclude that Epic Games, by the way, is the maker of Fortnite.
Right.
So the experience is there. I think this could be a huge opportunity for Lego. I'm a little concerned that I don't know if Lego's participation is linked to Sony's participation. I hope that the Lego family and the company has good leadership and good planning and strategy, and they execute on it rather than kind of being afraid of it and delegating the execution to the likes of Sony. I wouldn't have much trust in Sony in seeing something through. Although Sony, unless it's the PlayStation division of Sony, I don't know. So we'll see. It'll be interesting to follow that and see what comes of it.
Yeah, it is. And maybe we can start teasing topics for the next week.
Yeah.
But I got something. I thought this was kind of interesting. This is, as we're talking about our nerd stuff from kids or things that we keep going. This is so this actually launched today, so that's why I'm bringing it up. But this is MLB's version of NFTs. So they're launching. You think you'd go into the Walmart or Target or wherever and buying a pack of baseball cards. This is them doing the same thing. So this launched today, where you can buy a pack of these for $50, and they're dropping. And there's certain, they call them chase cards or inserts, where one out of every 2 packs, okay, you're going to get some core. And then it starts to ramp up. And then one out of every almost 25,000 packs, you're getting a legendary player or some sort of legendary special card. So I'm interested to see how this goes. I don't know if I'll be tempted to buy a pack of these at
so
$50, but
so
yeah.
That's an NFT. Is that basically just virtual baseball cards?
Yep, that's exactly what it is. And they've dabbled in this before. The Topps, which is a maker of baseball cards, had this online series called Bunt, B-U-N-T.
Mm-hmm.
And that sort of caught on, but not. It was almost one of those things that was like too early,
Mm-hmm.
So this is a next sort of step.
How do you
in
carry
that,
them and show them off? Is there a companion app? Is it a standard?
Yeah, just like any other NFT. I mean, you brag on Twitter that you got one of these legendary cards, and then there's a secondary market. So, you might buy a pack of 50 for $50, and there might be a secondary market that
That's
values
so
what
wild.
you have.
That's so wild. You know what's coming to mind when I look at this, and this, you have to. I have a shoebox somewhere in storage of baseball cards from the 80s and 90s, or maybe not even 90s, 80s, I think. But this is what I'm sure my grandparents felt. I feel like how I think my grandparents probably felt like when they first saw bottled water.
Right.
Have you heard somebody older describe that?
Yeah, I mean, I always kind of thought the same thing. I mean, I was probably late to the bottled water type of deal, but yeah, it is pretty crazy.
It's like, what do you mean? So this is like $50 for a virtual pack of playing cards, or not playing cards.
Yeah, baseball cards.
Baseball cards. And I totally respect the ingenuity.
And they're dropping at noon today. See the countdown clock up there, creating some urgency.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I mean if people are going to pay, hundreds of $1,000s for a picture of a digital ape, I mean, you got to figure they'll pay $50 for a digital Mike Trout
for sure,
or something, right?
For sure. This is, and it's all I'm coming online with the NFT model and paradigm for sure, but I think it's going to come down to execution, and marketing. How do they guarantee the exclusivity? How do they support it, the portability of it? How long can they support it? Is it platforms dependent? is this something that a platform can die down if the bean counters say it's not meeting its numbers anymore and we're discontinuing it?
Right.
And, so you have the investment in, like MP3s, like people have downloaded and paid for MP3s, can, still, that's a viable format that's universal and it's a standard. So you don't, Apple's support of it or whatever, who, is independent of that. So is this it's interesting. I love it. I think, I want to shake the man's hand who said, "Hey, let's come up with digital baseball cards because our manufacturing costs are basically zero. Our reproduction costs are zero."
Yeah.
Um,
Although
and that's
artists and graphic design and stuff, I mean, that can be, and you're hiring a whole new wave of data security and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah. Now, is this technically NFT? Is this what you
yeah,
would call NFT?
yeah. It says for the podcast listeners, lineup one of our 2022 MLB Icon series contains an assortment of 180 MLB player NFTs, ranging from familiar faces and fan favorites to current stars ready to be unwrapped for the first time ever on Candy. So they're using the Candy NFT
Blockchain.
platform, if that means
Okay.
anything to you. So
I love it, Bri. I'm so glad you brought that up. I think that's awesome.
yeah, and you can get a list of the players. So it's all current players for now, but I'm sure they'll license some legends and all that kind of stuff too at some point.
Very cool. Very cool.
All right. Well, another show in the books, another hour in the books.
Yeah, another one in the can for sure.
Yep. So outro, Brian Williams, Northshire Consulting. We got for those people watching on YouTube, we got a nice new little lower third there that's continuous, which seems to work pretty well across the different
I like
screen
it.
shares and stuff. So
I like it.
yeah, it came out good. So we've got that going on. We're recording every Tuesday and then we get it out. And we are independent investment advisory firm. And tell me about EVERNET.
Yeah, Eric Buhrendorf, CEO of EVERNET Consulting. We're an IT service provider. We are based in Hartford, Connecticut, but we service businesses, professional services businesses all over the country. So if you manage a law firm or a dental practice or any sort of healthcare practice, and you are not having a good experience with your IT vendor, give me a call and we'll talk about it.
All right. We'll see you next week.
See you, Bri.